Alrighty, good morning, commissioners, and over to you, Vice Chair Rogers, to call us to order.
Well, good morning to everyone. Today's a very unusual meeting in that it's a emergency meeting. Our regular meeting has been canceled. We have 3 items of business, as you'll see in a bit, a couple of public hearings, which we're going to continue, and then we're going to have an action item declaring the emergency. I want to, at the very start, before we even call our roll call, to thank Chair Harrington for her very diligent efforts in all of this catastrophe. She's been on the chat and on the phone with PGE trying to deal with a number of issues, and she'll be calling in, if she hasn't already, she'll be calling into this meeting from the airport. So she's very engaged and wants to know that she's sorry she's missing the meeting, but we all have those personal plans that sometimes conflict with our board meeting. So with that, Kevin, would you call a meeting?
Yes, certainly, Vice Chair Rogers.
Yeah.
The Washington County Board of Commissioners, also meeting as the Board of Directors for Clean Water Services and all other county service districts, is now meeting in this emergency session, January 16th, 2024. Commissioner Fye?
Present virtually.
Commissioner Treese?
Here.
Commissioner Willie?
Here.
Vice Chair Rogers?
Here.
And hopefully Chair Harrington will try to join us by phone, and I will keep an eye out for her. So back to you, Commissioner Rogers.
Thank you, Kevin. The first 2 items are both hearings that are going to be carried over to a date certain of about a week or 2. One is the Metzger Park Local Improvement District assessments, and the other is going to be Ordinance 897. We did have a letter of support of this action that you'll find in your packet. So why don't we move then to the first public hearing? I'll open that one. That's the approval of the hearing regarding the resolution to increase for fiscal year 24-25 the annual assessment for Metzger Park Improvement District. So we're going to dispense with staff reports. It's simply a matter of opening it and continuing it. So
that is correct, Commissioner.
So can we have a motion to continue? What's the date certain? Is it one?
It'll be January 23rd, next Tuesday.
Oh, that's what I thought. Okay, 23rd.
So moved. Second.
Motion 5, second Treese. Any discussion at all? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye, however you want to do it. There we go. I'm in the camera. That's 4-0. It'll be continued. Thank you. The second item will be a Ordinance 897, which is dealing with some urban area, rural resource area. It has to do with what is affectionately called River Terrace 2.0. Again, there's no staff discussion today, simply a motion to continue to the 23rd.
So moved.
Thank you. Motion Treese, second by
I'll second that. Commissioner Fye here.
Yep, second by Fye. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye or raise your right hand. Looks like it's unanimous. Okay. So now we'll get into the action item. I would ask Tanya, are you going to read that little one? Okay, and then at the conclusion, with your indulgence, I've asked Commissioner Treese to say a few words, which would be not only affecting her district, which is hard hit, but maybe general comments with all of your approval. So, Tanya, please.
And before I begin, Commissioner Rogers, I believe that Chair Harrington has joined.
Great, thank you. Catherine, we're getting bounced back. Could you mute, please? Great, thank you.
Thank you, Board, for convening today and in special meeting. The action before you is to declare an emergency pursuant to the authority granted by state statute, Chapter 401. The Washington County Charter provides the executive responsibility in times of emergency and specifically delegates authority to declare state of emergency to the Board of Commissioners. The following conditions have resulted in the need for a state of emergency. Extreme weather conditions have caused dangerously cold and windy weather, snow, potential freezing rain, large power outages, downed trees, and hazardous road conditions. The following disruption of important services, damage to life, or damage to property can and could be expected from the conditions that I had just outlined. County resources have been needed and will need to be continue to be in need to respond to this threat to keep the public safe as possible. Resources related to partial virtual opening of the Emergency Operations Center, opening of overnight shelters, specifically at Wingspan at Westside Commons, extended road crew operations, which are currently operating 24/7, communications, and funds are expected to be exhausted. In addition, as your board had just taken action, a public hearing was scheduled for January 16, 2024 to approve a resolution in order to increase fiscal year 24-25 maximum annual assessment of Metzger Park Local Improvement District and must be rescheduled to January 23rd, 2024 because of this emergency. Similar to that action, a public hearing was scheduled for January 16th, 2024 to consider proposed ordinance 897, an ordinance amending the comprehensive plan framework plan for the urban area, rural natural resource plan, and Bull Mountain community plan to reflect the River Terrace 2.0 urban growth boundary expansion area. This item is also rescheduled until January 23rd, 2024. The action in front of your board is to recommend that your board formally declares a state of emergency for Washington County, effective January 16th at 10 a.m. To provide your board with a bit of overview of current operations, I will walk through a few of our departments that have been key to response. Land use and transportation, Washington County road operations and maintenance will continue working on shifts with around-the-clock coverage until the weather situation stabilizes above freezing, which will likely be sometime in the next couple of days. Our crews continue to monitor the major road system, and we're removing down trees that are blocking traffic whenever power lines are not involved. I want to reiterate that. We are removing trees as quickly as we can whenever power lines are not involved. Tree and debris in these locations will be cleared so traffic can move through the area, but the remaining trees and debris along the side of the roads will be handled later as a secondary priority. Trees on private property will be the responsibility of property owners. Of the 70-some known locations with downed trees in the public right-of-way, the majority of those situations do involve power lines. Those that do not involve power lines have already been cleared as of this time. Due to safety concerns, land use and transportation cannot remove trees whenever power lines are involved. We are currently assessing which locations are safe for our crews to remove trees which do not have power lines. As of this time, we have handled all known locations with downed trees that do not involve power lines. As PGE crews continue to clear those downed trees with lines involved, we'll continue to monitor and reassess the situations to open the highest priority routes as soon as possible. Crews are also applying de-icer overnight to high priority areas with bare or lightly frosted pavement. Moving on to housing services, our houseless services team activated the inclement weather shelter response as of 2 p.m. on Friday, January 12th. This response included opening 75 inclement weather shelter beds at 2 sites, the Beaverton Community Center and activating Salvation Army Building in Hillsborough. Activation also included enhanced outreach to unsheltered individuals and 24-hour transportation for individuals needing support to get to those shelter sites. A third site at Elam Young was prepared and placed on standby for possible overflow if needed. On January 13th, the Elam Young site was activated as the Beaverton site was offline for several hours due to power outage and generator failure. The maximum capacity at the Salvation Army Building was increased to 70 to accommodate displaced participants. The Beaverton site came back online early on January 14th and was reopened under generator power until full power was restored midday on January 14th. As of January 15th, 130 to 135 individuals are being sheltered across 3 sites. 165 beds of inclement weather capacity are currently online. Additional overflow capacity has been identified at Cloverleaf and the Just Compassion Shelter in Tigard if needed. In addition, 3 families with children seeking shelter have been transported to area hotels and provided with food and supplies. Approximately 50 individuals have been transported to shelter by outreach teams throughout the activation. Outreach teams continue to seek and engage with unsheltered individuals and transport them to shelter or provide warming supplies as needed. Shelters will remain open through Wednesday. Our emergency management and incident coordination, the countywide severe weather coordination team has been meeting daily at 8:30 a.m. since Thursday, January 11th. At noon on Monday, January 15th, the county activated its Emergency Operations Center to coordinate county response activities, as well as with its city, special district, and community partners. Emergency management activated an additional overnight shelter at the Wingspan as of Monday afternoon. The purpose of this shelter is to support community members impacted by those with the extended power outage. It had very light utilization on Monday night. PIA public information staff are working on publicizing the availability of the Wingspan and encouraging people to get to shelter before the freezing rain sets in. I'm also asking that city managers and special district partners do help share this word throughout their social media outlets. Hot meals are also available at the Wingspan. A note from our sheriff's office: during this time of emergency, if you must be out on roads, please go slow and provide plenty of space to ensure adequate stopping and safety for those on the traveling roads, pedestrians, and also bicyclists. And that concludes my staff update on this current emergency.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff regarding the emergency? Commissioner Treese, do you want to make your comments now, or do you want to wait till after we have the motion?
I'll make them now. Thank you.
Thank you,
Vice Chair. I want you all to know that I've also cleared my comments with Chair Harrington. She is extremely concerned and very in tune with everything that's happened, and has asked me to make these comments as well. And basically, what I want our public to know is that the commission is very, very well aware of the extent of damage that has happened here. We are very well aware of the the weather predictions coming forward. We are concerned about making sure that the public is safe and comfortable. We encourage you all to make sure that you are aware of the opportunities to take shelter at places like the Wingspan. That information is available on our website as well. I also want to take a moment and talk just briefly about District 2 and the fact that District 2, my district, has been hit particularly hard by this situation. Again, we are all very well aware of that. Our own Lisa Tattersall, who is the library director, where she lives, a tree went right through the house right next to her. So this is not an uncommon occurrence. We have these situations with people having damage to their homes, their living space. And again, we are very well aware of that. I want to also take a moment and say a large shout out to our road crews through Land Use and Transportation. They're doing an amazing job and working in coordination with PGE. This is a significant situation, and we request your patience. It's hard, and I understand that, but we are aware of what's going on, and a big shout out to our road crews. I'd also like to make a shout out to our emergency manager, John Wheeler, and his group in the work that they've done to set up the Emergency Operations Center. this is a sign of the effective nature of our emergency management team and how they can work proactively to make sure our public is safe. With that, I want to close with, again, a thank you to everybody and a request to our public that you understand we know what's happening. We are very concerned and we are doing everything we can to make sure that you are safe and comfortable. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Treese. I know Chair Harrington made several contacts yesterday in regard to PGE and some of the reporting and trying to give relief to those where we had some ability to do that. And thank you for your comments. Is there any other comments before we vote?
Vice Chair Rogers, I have a quick question for Tanya. Tanya, thank you for that great update and great list of all the shelters that are available. That's very useful, helpful information. And hopefully there's on our website, there's a site area or somewhere in the website where consolidated list of resources are located. If you could just call out that section on the website. The question I had to you is around transportation to these shelters that are available to people, in particularly the wingspan. Is there shelter available? Is there a TriMet involvement? Could you talk more about that, please?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Commissioner Fye. There are currently 2 bus lines that do access wingspan. Community members can also contact 211 for transportation options. I also understand that Lyft can provide free rides via calling 211 for assistance. So once again, community members needing transportation assistance to wingspan or other shelters should call 211 for that assistance.
This is Chair Harrington. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, please.
I would also like to add, if people go to the Washington County website, that's washingtoncountyor.gov, you will see information right on our homepage for information on seeking shelter at the Wingspan Event Center. And that, when you click on that page, it also describes the transportation resources that are available to you, the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for making the effort to be here telephonically. Can I ask a favor of you? Would you like to make a motion to declare the emergency?
No, I think that's more appropriate for all of you who are there visually, and
Okay.
I will just, in advance, I will tell you I'm voting for approval.
Okay, in case we get cut off on the lines. Okay, great. Then I will take a motion then for approval of the declaration to declare an emergency.
So moved.
That was Commissioner Treese.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Fye. Any other comments or questions?
I would like to make one additional comment, and that is that pets are an important part of many of our public's lives, and they are welcome at Wingspan if they are in a cage or crated, and you need to bring their food as well. Just wanted to make that known. And to Chair Harrington, while you were speaking about the website, Clerk Moss put up the information on the screen so that people could see where it is.
Wonderful. And also a big shout out to our clean water services teams who are keeping human waste flowing. Thank you.
That's very, very important. We all agree for sure. All right. All those in favor say aye or raise your right hand.
Aye, Catherine Harrington.
That looks like it's approved 5-0. Thank you to all, Tanya, for all of your staff who are working through some pretty unpleasant conditions out there. And Diane, from the Clean Water Service side, thank your staff. They're around the clock, 24 hours, 7 days a week. We appreciate them as well. That brings us down to board announcements. Are there any board announcements? I'm not seeing any. Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, Commissioner
Second.
Treese. Second from Commissioner Fye. All those in favor, you know the program, raise your right hand or say aye. Thank you.
Hi, Catherine Harrington.
Thank you, Catherine. Travel safe, and thank you to everyone. We're adjourned.